What is going on, everyone? Platinum Bees coming at you with yet another video. Today we're going to be talking about, is a market crash coming? And if so, what does that mean? So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so we all know the market is going absolutely crazy right now. What do I mean by that? I mean, about 15 to 18 months ago, we saw the market go. It was the worst drop in pretty much across the board since God only knows when. But the market slowly recovered, and not even really slowly, but fairly quickly recovered, and recovered to even greater lengths than it really was before in some cases. Take, for instance, a lot of precious metals, they had not reached levels that they are at now before March 2020. And so today what I want to talk about is a market crash coming? And if so, what does it mean? So first and foremost, I want to say what I talk about in this video is my sole opinion and my own personal views. Your views may differ. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions when making any financial decisions for yourself. But with that being said, I do want to give my opinion and my thoughts and things like that. So the market has been going absolutely crazy, as most people are aware. And it's really hard to kind of figure out what's going on and what's going to happen, right? A lot of people are speculating that the market is going to crash at some point in the near future. Now, I do kind of fall in that same category in that I believe that the market could and probably will crash at some point. It can't just keep going up forever. No matter what people say online, it's not going to go up forever. It doesn't only go up. There are crashes, there are pullbacks, there are falls and dips and all kinds of things that occur. Now, one thing I want to mention is I don't get into politics on this channel, and so I'm not going to do that here. But what I am going to say is the new or current administration in the United States government, at least, has thus far proven itself to not really be able to handle everything going on in the world. And that's not my own political view. That's just simply what any normal person can somewhat observe going on with the economy, with everything going on as far as the United States is concerned and America is concerned. There's been a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of craziness, a lot of baloney, a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it just doesn't seem quite like things are going to just get better, right? So it seems like everything's going to unfold, and it's probably going to unfold here in a short amount of time, within probably this year, but maybe within the next year or two, maybe. Now, what I want to say is, again, that's not meant to be political or anything like that, but it's just a simple matter of fact, right? The previous administration, no matter what side of the aisle you were on, obviously had the ability to handle the economy much better than the current administration. Now, that's all I'm going to say about the political stuff, but that is something we need to keep in mind and we need to keep an eye on, is because that's going to be a major factor on how the economy is run going forward, at least for the next few years. Because, like I mentioned, it is a new administration, and so in government, and so that's going to last at least a couple years on the Congress side and at least 4 years on the executive side. Now, what I want to mention is I was talking about how a market crash may be on the horizon soon. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, look, I'm investing in stocks, I'm investing in precious metals, I'm investing in different things because I still want to invest my money. I'm not just holding on to cash waiting for the market to crash. But when it does, I'll be prepared, right? I'll be prepared because I will have expected this to occur and this to happen. And so it won't come as so much of a shock to me, right? And I'll be prepared to just sit on my holdings and wait for them to recover at some point. Because when there's market crashes and the economy goes down, it always comes back at some point. It's just a matter of when. And sometimes you do have to wait it out quite a while before you see your assets and holdings and investments actually get back to the place that they were at one point. Now, that is one thing I want to mention is if you are investing right now, go into it long term. Now, I've talked a lot about how stacking is long term regardless of if you're stacking now, in the future, in the past, whatever. It should always be kind of a long term kind of game that you are playing versus stacking for short-term games. Short-term gains, that's where you get into crypto, which I do not personally invest in, and that's where you get into stock market if you want to obtain short-term gains on your overall wealth. So the market crash that is probably coming will probably be here soon. Now, one other thing I want to mention that I don't talk a whole lot about on my channel is the housing market, right? The housing market has gone through the roof. I've had multiple friends who have recently gotten married within the past year or whatever. Because I live down here in the South, the state of Georgia has been pretty much free for about a year now. There's really been hardly any restrictions. So I've had lots of friends get married and a lot of friends, get new jobs and start new lives and all kinds of things. And they are looking to buy a house and they see that the prices are just so high right now. And it's crazy to think about, right? Because if you look at the unemployment levels are really, really bad. And that goes back to administrative policies with, unemployment and things like that. A lot of people got put on unemployment last March and they've just stayed on it forever because, hey, why not? The government's going to send me a check. I might as well just take them up on their offer. As well as the stimulus and all kinds of things have caused, unemployment to be higher. It's just a simple matter of fact. I'm not against helping people who need it, but at the same time, when you hand out things such as unemployment and stimulus so easily, it creates an environment for people to be somewhat lazy. I'm not, again, hating on anyone who actually legitimately needs these resources, but there are, unfortunately, it doesn't matter what you believe, there are people who do take advantage of the system for as much as they possibly can. And so that really hurts the economy. So if the economy's hurt, unemployment's high, what's driving all of this market craziness, right? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of people are just thinking that, the market's not going to crash, right? It's just going to keep going and that's just the way it's going to be. Now, I want to mention that pre-2020, a lot of people were talking about a impending market downfall, right? A recession or what have you. Because the market was looking very, very good pre-2020. It was going very, very well. It doesn't matter where you sit on the political spectrum. There's no denying that the markets, the economy, it was all great. Taxes were low. Everything was wonderful. But people were expecting a recession/pullback at some point. Now, 2020 happened, and we saw what happened, but it was very short-lived, and we're already back almost to pre-2020 levels. So why? Why is that? Well, I think originally, from what I experienced and what I witnessed during 2020 was people saw the market crash. People saw the market go way down, but then slowly, and I say slowly, really quickly, kind of recover itself, right? If you bought on the day the market crashed, you already made a lot of money within a few weeks, right? Because we saw the stocks go back up fairly quickly and recover fairly quickly. So at first, I noticed a lot of people were mentioning, like on forums and YouTube and all kinds of things, how it's not going to last forever, right? It's all fake, right? It's all this, that, and the other. Don't invest your money now because there's going to be another pullback. Well, I didn't really see that occur, right? There were little dips here and there, but I didn't really see any major pullback occur. I didn't see the economy crash, go up really high, and then pull back and then stay low for a while, right? It's just slowly gone up and up and up and up and up as time has gone on. And it's really not making a whole lot of sense. But what I personally think may be occurring is people did buy into that mindset of, as soon as the market started getting back to normal, they thought that it would come back down. A year after March, we now see it hasn't come back down. So because we missed that mark, that original, 6-month mark where it would come back down and then stay low for a while, I get the feeling there's a lot of individuals out there who believe the market isn't going to crash, it's not going to come down, it's not going to pull back or be affected negatively at all. Now, one thing I want to mention is inflation, right? We know there was tons of money printing in the past year, and that is going to impact inflation as a whole, and it's going to impact the value of the dollar and everything like that. So because of the price of goods and the price of really everything goes up with inflation, we could see things like the housing market and even like the stock market and commodities like precious metals and stuff really just never go back to pre-2020 levels. Now that is due to inflation more so than it is due to overall increase in value. So that's something we need to keep in mind when we're seeing the value of our stacks go up and increase over time, is we need to take into account that the price of everything's going up, right? So we need to focus on that especially. So take, for instance, this silver kangaroo, right? I probably bought this for like 20 bucks or something. What is it, a year 2020? I think I bought it way back in March or something. So maybe I paid like $22, $23 or something. But regardless, I bought this 2020 kangaroo, let's just say 20 bucks, right? Well, that was pre all the inflation, right? So that was before all the inflation was going on and everything like that. Now this kangaroo is probably worth about 30 bucks, right? So I've made a solid $8 to $10 on my overall investment. But how much have the price of goods gone up, right? When I bought this for 20 bucks, gas was $1.75 a gallon. Now we understand why that is. No one was driving around during quarantine and everything like that. But regardless, gas was $1.75 a gallon. Now gas is $2.75 a gallon at the very least. And so gas has gone up $1. This has gone up $10. Gas was $1.75. This was about 20 bucks. It's really moved with the price of inflation a lot, right? A lot of people act like the squeeze and everything like that is causing these price changes. I'm not so convinced that it is. But regardless, if the market crash comes, when it does, good things will be in store for precious metals, I believe. Because number one, here's what I think personally, and this is my personal opinion. I think precious metals hold their value the best during a market downturn. Now, what do I mean by that? If you take a look at March 2020, and I just keep using that as an example because it's such a recent event that occurred. If you take a look at March 2020, the price of silver, gold, and platinum all went down. They all three went down, including palladium. Palladium got hit hard. It went back up pretty quick, but it got hit hard. Now, if you take a look at the price of all of them, they all went down. But if you take a look at the stock market, people were getting ready to jump off bridges and stuff. I mean, it was no joke. It was bad, 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 bad. And people were like having to scramble to get money because they owed money on their loans and all that stuff. I don't really get that deep into stock trading and stuff like that. I'm just a buyer and holder. But I do understand shorting and a little bit and all those kinds of things. And when the market crashes, those people are usually in pretty bad trouble. And so because of that, precious metals, I think, held their value the best. Now, you could also make an argument for real estate and land and things like that. I didn't really see a huge housing market crash or real estate market crash. But regardless, precious metals are just so much more liquid and so much more divisible and all those kinds of things. I see the real estate market and the precious metal market as somewhat similar because they are assets that are actual physical assets that you can own and liquidate and sell and buy and trade and things like that. Whereas stocks, crypto, that stuff, it's all digital really. I mean, stocks, you do own holdings within a company that is actually a legitimate physical company, but it's just simply not really the same in my opinion. So owning precious metals is going to have you the best protected during a market crash, in my opinion. And I think we will be very well protected. Now, I do think we will see a decrease in overall value of our stack because when the market crashes as a whole, everything goes down a little bit or a lot. It just depends on what it is, right? We can, again, take an example from March 2020. Everything went down, including gold. Gold held the strongest. Silver got hit hard. Platinum got hit hard. Palladium got hit hard. But those are industrial metals, and so that is expected. But even though they got hit hard, they still held value regardless. So if I was hit with an emergency, yes, I would lose some money because the market crashed. But I'd still have value, right? I owe nothing on this unless I take a loan against it, which I would not suggest and would not be exactly the smartest thing in the world to do. I don't owe anything on this. I just own it outright. So it could be worth less as a whole, but it's still worth something, right? It's just something to kind of take in mind and to kind of think about. But these are my thoughts on the market crash that is coming, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. It's not financial advice. Be sure to do your own research and come up with your own conclusions about what you do with your own money and your own products and assets and things like that. At the end of the day, I'm just a platinum stacker who also stacks other precious metals, and I just like sharing my opinion with you guys. So with all that being said today, guys, I appreciate y'all stopping by and watching my video and checking out what I had to say today. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Do you think the market is going to crash? Do you think it's coming? What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? How are you preparing for it? What are your goals? What's your mindset? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. With all that being said, guys, until next time, we will see you.